Hello, 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 Black Healing Matters family. This is Danielle here at the Black Healing Matters podcast, where we offer you ideas to hopefully move you one step closer to your healing. And it's another week. Wow, already. Time's a moving, man. Here we are already more than halfway through the first month of the new year. Can you believe it? Wow. Already it is another Set Your Intention Sunday. And so this Sunday I am going to be talking about something I think can apply to all of us. It must apply to all of us. At some point or another, we've got to do some of this as we set the tone for our intentions for this year. This activity is something that you absolutely must do. Yes, I'm sure you're right. Okay, what is it, Danielle? Well, on this Set Your Intention Sunday, where we strive to really get underneath the reasons why we don't set great intentions or don't follow through on great intentions, as well as we encourage you to set great intentions for the week to come. Today, we're going to talk about planning. Yes, planning for your great intention. What does that look like? How to do it? And of course, the success that comes along with it on the other side of a great plan. Now, this is not a earth-shattering concept. We've all had to do some planning at some point or another. But I think the thing that is really important about planning for our intentions, and that I think for when we plan, for example, if you're planning, something for work, a new project, or planning a trip, it's pretty straightforward. We already know what the outcome will look like. And especially if it's something you've done before, it's probably not that difficult to conceptualize and put together a plan for. But when you're setting an intention for something that you've never experienced before, when you're setting an intention to do something that maybe you've never even done before, you don't maybe even know anybody who has actually done it. This can be super intimidating, and it can actually stop us in our tracks. I've had this happen to me so many times where I never even got to the planning stage of an intention because I just thought it was too big. And it was so far out there, it was so far away from me that I could not really see myself getting it done. Actually, I didn't even know what to do. Like I didn't mentally realize what I needed to do to get that intention done. I often use the example of me starting this podcast. That was, and it fits the situation as well. I had the intention for a long time, but I had no clue what to do. And that allowed me to make great excuses for quite a long time so that I didn't do anything. I just didn't get anything done. And thankfully I did, but we can see now that there's a better way. So today we're going to talk about planning. How to get from where you are right now, making a plan to get to where you want to be, to build that bridge so that it's not just a bridge that leads off into nowhere land. And at the end, we don't know what we'll find, but something that we can do and predict and kind of plot out methodically, just as though we were planning a trip, a family trip, or, another project at work. So when we come back, we're going to get into some very practical steps on how to plan out your intention right here in 2018 to get the job done. Be right back in an instant, fam. we're back at it again. Yes. So on this Set Your Intention Sunday, we're going to talk about, as I mentioned, planning. Very simply, how to put together a plan, how to make the plan work, and then how to work the plan. Okay. So step number 1 in planning. The most important step, I believe, that in the whole process of planning, and the reason really why I prompt you every single week to set intentions, it's not really so much about the intention itself, because we always have new intentions, and intentions evolve over time. But it's actually to get, number 1, clarity. Yes, clarity. Clarity is hugely important when it comes down to planning a new goal or a new intention. So once you have clarity, then you actually know what the outcome will look like. And so, for example, if you're, this year, you may have some health goals. You might want to, lose some weight. Well, that's a fantastic goal. Yes, that's a great intention. But do you have a number? And some people say, I don't care about the number on the scale. Okay, well, what do you care about? What are you measuring your success with? What's the backdrop or the measuring stick with which you will use to measure your success? Because there's something. If there was nothing, then this would not be an intention. Right? So what is it that you're going to be basing your success on? Is it, inches out of your waistline or off of your body entirely? Or is it, time spent exercising? Or is it an endurance goal that you want to be able to, for example, run for 30 minutes straight? That's a fantastic goal. Whatever it is, clarify it. Break it down to a very clear, simple, measurable outcome. Whatever that is. Okay. So as I mentioned before, if you're wanting to get healthier, then your goal might be to be able to jog for 30 minutes straight without stopping. Right? Maybe obviously you can't do that now, then that would be the goal. Right? Or let's say if you want to make a certain dollar amount in your business. You're starting a new business. You want to make, you're going to measure your success in the amount of dollars that you make, or the amount of followers that you have, or whatever. Okay. But set that number. And again, it can be big or small. I'm not saying that it needs to be of a certain, nature, but it needs to be clear. Number 2, whatever that big end goal is that you've set, whether it be 10 inches off your waistline or being able to run for 30 minutes, then we have to chunk that goal down into bite-sized pieces. For example, if my goal is to take 10 inches off, 10 is a lot, I guess, but let's just say, for, the purpose of easy numbers, 10 inches off my waistline, by, let's say, in 6 months, or let's just make the numbers easy, in 10 months, right? Then that means I need to lose 1 inch per month, right? So what do I need to do to lose 1 inch per month? How much weight do I need to lose? Or maybe what kind of exercises do I need to do to get to that goal? Now, as you know your body and you become accustomed to what it takes for your body to lose weight, and more accurately lose inches, then you'll know what that takes, and you'll be able to chart that out from a 10-month goal down to a 1-month goal, down to a 1-week goal, down to a daily grind. That's why I call it the daily grind. And so the whole goal here is to chunk down every single goal or intention into a daily grind, something that you can do daily or, regularly throughout the week that's going to get you to your goal. It's kind of like, if you think of it this way, it's kind of like paying a toll. if you're going on a long road trip, and let's say you're going to cross several states in order to get to your destination. Let's say you're going from, I don't know, Chicago to New York. And in between Chicago and New York, you're going to pass through several states. You're going to be passing through several cities. Each state has their own toll and taxes that you have to pay, right? Road taxes that you have to pay. And so you don't pay those taxes. You don't pay that toll at the end. You pay the toll as you go along. And so going along every day, paying the toll as you go along is what allows you eventually to get to your destination. But if you don't pay these tolls regularly, if you don't actually do the work regularly, whether it be daily or, bi-weekly, whatever your goal, whatever your intention requires, then there's no way you can make it to the end, right? There's no way you can get to your end goal. Number 3, the third step to take when planning for your big intention is to marry the two concepts of practicality and effectiveness. Now, this is my personal theory, okay? And I have shared this theory with many people, and I've never had anybody tell me that doesn't make no sense. So I'm going to share it with you because it works for me so well. Whenever I come across something that I want to incorporate into my lifestyle, whether it be, a new app that I want to use every day, like the Brain Games app I was telling you all about, where you play these brain games every day, I think 5 minutes a day. Or it's exercise, where, if I want to go to the gym every day or 3 times a week, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever you've chunked down your goal, whatever that chunked down version is, does it meet this kind of litmus test of practicality and effectiveness? And so what I'm assuming that if you've chosen this as your chunk down intentional goal, that it is effective. But is it practical is what I'm saying. And if you could imagine these two things on two ends of a spectrum, one end on the far left is practicality. On the far right end of the spectrum would be effectiveness. Something that is highly effective is probably not very practical. For example, again, you want to lose 10 inches in your waist and you say, okay, I'm going to exercise for 4 or 5 hours every single day. Wow. Okay. That's extremely effective, right? And I think we could agree that if you did that, it would be extremely effective in getting you to your goal. However, is it practical for your lifestyle right now? Do you have time and energy to spend 5 hours in the gym every day, going hard, by yourself, without any support? Do you have that? Is that actually practical for you? Now, for most of us, probably not. If you're in a situation where you need to lose 10 inches off of your waistline, it's probably not practical, okay? So, again, every chunk down goal must meet this kind of litmus test of practicality and effectiveness. And the goal is that they marry somewhere equally yoked in the middle of that continuum. Okay, that it's not extremely, it's not overly practical, right? Because the opposite of effective may be practical. Like, it's super practical to just lay on the floor and do nothing. That may be the most practical way of surviving. But if you're trying to lose weight, that's probably not the most effective way, right? So, there's a balance between the 5 hours of exercise a day and just laying on the floor and doing nothing. Between those two, they've got to marry each other at some point. You're looking for that sweet spot. And this is really very subjective. You've got to be honest with yourself. Okay, please be honest with yourself and set a daily, again, a workable daily or weekly intention that actually is practical and effective for you. Okay, this is super, super personal. And the last one, very simply, is to implement, is to do it, right? Go out and do it. It's very simple. But I think this, if you put this into action, these 4 steps to planning, I think you will see, I know you will see results, Black Healing Matters family. So again, number 1, get clarity. Very specifically figure out what your goal is. Number 2, chunk down that goal into bite-sized, daily, weekly, monthly goals, or maybe yearly, whatever it takes, however big your goal is. Especially if it's a huge one, you gotta chunk it down. And number 3, make sure it meets the litmus test of the marriage between practicality and effectiveness. If there is no wedding between those two, you are setting yourself up for a dummy mission. I'm telling you right now, and a whole lot of disappointment to come along with it. And the last one, number 4, is to get busy, right? You now have your plan. It's time to get busy working the plan. And of course, to improve it, to revise it as necessary, because there's always changes and bumps and bruises in the road. Yep. All right, Black Healing Matters family. I'm so glad that you're here with me. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. And as always, stay blessed. Black Healing Matters.
Hey Danielle, it's Cadre. It's just calling to say what's going on. I hope all is well with you. I haven't really got to check in with you lately, so I hope all is going good with you over there overseas. So, hey, you have a good one, and I'll be checking back in real soon. Thanks, yo.
Hey, Black Healing Matters. This is Miss Yvonne. I was just sitting here proofreading the manuscript for my book or whatever. Anyway, girl, I had to call in because God is so awesome, you know. He's so good. And it's like, you know, it just happened to that. I'm reading over the part where, you know, my experience as a child with my uncle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it connects me with your messages, you know what I mean? Your content, you know, the reason for you here. And it's like, you know, of course, this is no accident. Then I turn on the radio and the radio is talking about This is Love Yourself Friday. I'm like, oh my God, look at God. So anyway, I'm just over here having one of those moments and I just thought I would share that. So you are a divine reason for coming into my life, even through Anchor. So Anchor, you got a hand in on this and I thank y'all too, by the grace of God. Thank you.
What's going on, Black Healing Matters? This is Christian from Afro Beats. Just wanted to thank you for calling in and just say how much that I already love your content. I've already watched a couple episodes and there's a ton of stuff and resources for our people in our community. So I'm excited to see what's coming up next. I love that you can relate to the mac and cheese and, you know, the fire cakes. I can't wait to relate more and hopefully call into some of your episodes further down the line. So be blessed. Have a great day and peace.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.